Good day, level cast learners. Today, we embark on a journey back in time to one of the most pivotal and tumultuous periods in European history, the French Revolution. This monumental upheaval, spanning roughly a decade from 1789 to 1799, didn't merely reshape France. It sent seismic waves across the globe, forever altering political landscapes, societal structures, and the very concept of governance. We'll delve into the intricate tapestry of causes that precipitated this cataclysmic event, exploring the simmering discontent among the Third Estate, the crippling financial woes of the monarchy, and the burgeoning influence of Enlightenment ideals that challenged the entrenched absolutism of the ancient regime. Imagine a society teetering on the brink, where opulent aristocratic excess stood in stark contrast to widespread poverty and hunger, where fundamental human rights were a distant dream for the vast majority. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation, a clash between privilege and desperation, between inherited power and the burgeoning demand for liberty, equality, and fraternity. Understanding the French Revolution is not just about memorizing dates and names. It's about grasping the profound ideological shifts that continue to resonate in contemporary political thought and social movements. It's about appreciating the enduring power of ideas to ignite revolution and reshape human destiny. So, prepare yourselves for a deep dive into the heart of a revolution that redefined an era and laid the groundwork for the modern world. We will navigate the complexities of its origins, the ferocious intensity of its unfolding, and the far-reaching consequences that continue to echo through the corridors of history. The seeds of revolution were sown deeply within the social and economic fabric of 18th-century France. At the apex sat the absolute monarchy, personified by King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette, whose extravagant lifestyle at Versailles became a potent symbol of aristocratic detachment. Beneath them, the First Estate, comprising the clergy, and the Second Estate, the nobility, enjoyed vast privileges, including exemption from most taxes, while wielding significant political and economic power. The burden of taxation, however, fell almost entirely upon the Third Estate, an enormous and diverse group encompassing everyone from wealthy merchants and lawyers, the bourgeoisie, to urban artisans, peasants, and the landless poor. This profound inequality was further exacerbated by a series of disastrous harvests in the 1780s, leading to soaring bread prices and widespread famine. The state, already crippled by immense debt incurred from costly wars, particularly its support for the American Revolution, found itself on the verge of bankruptcy. Attempts at financial reform were repeatedly thwarted by the privileged estates, who steadfastly refused to relinquish their fiscal exemptions. Meanwhile, the intellectual ferment of the Enlightenment, championed by thinkers like Rousseau, Voltaire, and Montesquieu, had begun to permeate society, challenging the divine right of kings and advocating for concepts such as popular sovereignty, individual rights, and the separation of powers. These radical ideas, disseminated through salons, pamphlets, and burgeoning public discourse, provided the philosophical ammunition for a populace increasingly frustrated by political disenfranchisement and economic hardship. The convocation of the Estates General in May 1789, an assembly that had not met for 175 years, was intended by the king to address the financial crisis, but it inadvertently opened a Pandora's box. The Third Estate, demanding greater representation and voting by head rather than by order, found its demands rebuffed, leading to their momentous declaration of themselves as the National Assembly in the iconic tennis court oath, vowing not to disperse until a new constitution was established. This act of defiance marked the definitive rupture with the ancient regime and the true inception of the revolutionary process, transforming a fiscal crisis into a full-blown political revolution. The summer of 1789 witnessed a rapid escalation of revolutionary fervor. The storming of the Bastille on July 14, a medieval fortress and symbol of royal tyranny, though strategically insignificant, became a powerful emblem of popular uprising and the irreversible collapse of royal authority. This act ignited a wave of peasant revolts across the countryside, known as the Great Fear, where chateaux were burned and feudal records destroyed, dismantling the remnants of the feudal system. In August, the National Assembly, in a flurry of legislative activity, abolished feudalism and aristocratic privileges, culminating in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. This groundbreaking document, inspired by Enlightenment principles, proclaimed universal rights such as liberty, property, security, and resistance to oppression, asserting that sovereignty resided in the nation, not the monarch. However, the path to a stable, democratic republic was fraught with peril. The initial phase of constitutional monarchy was short-lived, undermined by the king's perceived resistance and his attempted flight to Varennes in 1791, which irrevocably shattered public trust. The external threats from monarchical powers in Europe, fearful of the revolutionary contagion spreading to their own realms, led to war, further radicalizing the revolution. The rise of political factions, notably the Jacobins and the Girondins, intensified internal conflicts, culminating in the overthrow of the monarchy in 1792 and the establishment of the First French Republic. The execution of Louis XVI in January 1793, followed by Marie Antoinette, sent shockwaves across Europe and marked a point of no return. The subsequent period, known as the Reign of Terror, 1793 to 1794, saw the radical Jacobin leader Maximilien Robespierre and the Committee of Public Safety unleash a brutal campaign against perceived enemies of the revolution, resulting in tens of thousands of executions by guillotine. This extreme phase, driven by paranoia and a desire to purge counter-revolutionary elements, ultimately consumed its own architects, with Robespierre himself falling victim to the guillotine in July 1794, signaling a Thermidorian reaction and a move away from radicalism. The Thermidorian reaction ushered in a period of political instability, characterized by the Directory, a five-man executive body that struggled to maintain order amidst ongoing economic difficulties and persistent internal and external threats. While the Directory managed to stabilize the nation to some extent, it was plagued by corruption and a lack of popular support, paving the way for further political change. The Revolutionary Wars, initially defensive, had by this point transformed into campaigns of conquest, fostering the rise of a charismatic and militarily brilliant general, Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1799, Napoleon seized power in a coup d'état, effectively ending the revolutionary decade. Although he established an authoritarian regime, Napoleon consolidated many of the revolutionary gains, codifying laws through the Napoleonic Code, which enshrined principles of equality before the law, property rights, and religious toleration. He also spread revolutionary ideals across Europe through his conquests, albeit often by force, dismantling old feudal structures and inspiring nationalist movements. The French Revolution, despite its violent excesses and eventual culmination in an empire, irrevocably transformed France and the world. It dismantled the ancient regime, abolished feudalism, and established the principle of popular sovereignty. It popularized the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which became rallying cries for subsequent revolutions and democratic movements worldwide. While the path to a stable republic was long and arduous, the revolution laid the foundational concepts for modern nation-states, human rights, and constitutional government. Its legacy is complex and contested, a testament to both the transformative power of human aspiration and the inherent dangers of unchecked revolutionary zeal. The reverberations of 1789 continue to shape our understanding of political change, individual rights, and the enduring quest for a more just and equitable society.
That was an incredibly detailed overview of the French Revolution.
Indeed, the scope of the events is quite staggering.
The disparity between the estates truly set the stage, didn't it?
Absolutely. The Third Estate bore immense burdens.
And the Enlightenment ideas provided the intellectual framework for change.
Yes, challenging absolute monarchies was revolutionary.
The storming of the Bastille seems like such a symbolic moment.
It definitely marked a turning point in public defiance.
The Declaration of the Rights of Man was truly groundbreaking.
Its principles still resonate in modern human rights.
The Reign of Terror, though, was a very dark period.
It showed the dangers of unchecked revolutionary fervor.
Robespierre's fall was a dramatic end to that phase.
A revolution often consumes its own children.
Napoleon's rise really brought a different kind of order.
He both preserved and transformed revolutionary ideals.
The legacy of liberty, equality, fraternity is enduring.
Those ideals shaped subsequent global movements.
This topic is so rich with historical lessons.
It certainly offers much food for thought.
I'm glad we explored it in such depth.
Me too. Keep learning, Levelcasters.
Until next time, Levelcasters, keep exploring, keep learning.